Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your calls.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom, Mr. Big Shot, is here this week. Welcome.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. 866-594-4150. What has caught your attention in the automotive world?
Well, Russ, you can go ahead because you've been up there in the shop. I've been running around the world.
Just the normal, we could tell a holiday's coming up, just like all major holidays. How can you tell it's coming up? Because everybody calls it the last minute.
Wants their air conditioning fixed.
Air conditioning or their heater fixed if it's winter or whatever it is. But hey, that means we get more work, right?
That's what it's all about, is trying to get a few more people in the door every once in a while.
That's all right. We'll get you taken care of.
You have been traveling the world.
I was.
Literally.
We had an opportunity with the Automotive Recyclers Association to go to England and visit some facilities there. And so that was quite an experience to go see our friends at Silver Lake. And they're in, I guess, what they call the Southamptons outside of London. And it's a facility that is so unique to me because of the volume they run at. They have a combination, what they call braking. They're braking the cars. And then they're also harvesting parts along the way, and they're trying to get deeper into parts, and their whole dynamic of their businesses are changing over there right now. But they process anywhere from 80 to 100 cars a day.
Oh, wow.
A day. And if you look at that number, it boggles my mind because we'll do 400 cars in a month at our facility here, maybe. And so it's just watching how they do that and the different things that are required of them with European laws. And then we went to a conference and sat with a lot of folks there. They had industry stakeholders from Toyota. They had consultants there, and they were just chatting a lot about just the circular economy. The sustainability is a much bigger push there right now because of the end producer responsibility, the EPR laws. The EVs are more prevalent over there, and so their supply chain of trying to figure out what to do with all the EV batteries and the things that are harvested out of those vehicles. That whole piece is just a lot different. So it was fun to explore that. I was over there with the executive director from the trade association, Vince Edevan, and we were spending some time. He toured a day before I did and went to a couple other facilities that were smaller and did things a little more niche. Or which way should I say that?
I like niche.
I think we looked that up, and I can say it either way.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a 99 Chevy Silverado 2500 pickup truck. Has like maybe 160,000 miles on it. And when I bought it about 6-7 years ago, the gas gauge didn't work. So finally, I didn't want to drop the tank because of all the rust in it. So I took the bed off and put a new fuel pump in the tank, and it was a GM factory fuel pump, and the gas gauge still doesn't work. So I want to know where to go from here.
What testing did you do before you decided to go after all those rusty bolts and rip the box off? Because that's on a 99 Silverado can sometimes be no fun. Be worse if it was a Ford.
No, it wasn't fun. it wasn't fun. I didn't do much testing. I just kind of went. I'm not the greatest tech in the world, to be honest with you.
But you're willing to take on a project. You proved that.
Yeah. I had a big forklift, so I did have a way to get the bed off of there.
Well, there's an easy way to check that. In the back of that thing, you've just got two wires going to the top of that tank that send any signals anywhere, and then your ground. And that black wire back there is a ground. Sometimes there are different colors on those, but that one's black, and it goes over to the frame on the driver's side there, about 1.5 feet from that pump. That is
Can you get
to
your
it.
arms in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you can't, just cut the thing off, splice a new wire into it with some heat shrink, and then run a better ground, because that ground fails all the time on those because of the rust you have back
wow.
there.
How simple is that?
Well,
He really wants to hear this now, Russ.
that
After
could do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to test it first. Unplug that tank wire. Just reach up over the top of it. Easy, right? Between the drive shaft and that tank, you can reach up over the top, but I'm sure you can get it unplugged. If you unplug it and look at the wiring diagram, you got a purple and gray wire in there. And if you ground out that wire with the key in the on position, the fuel gauge is going to go to pass full if the wiring's working.
Okay.
and it'll go past full with it unplugged. With it grounded, it's going to go past empty. So that's one way to tell. If you hook up to the wrong wire and the key is on, you think you got power from the fuel pump, but you don't after the key's been on for about 3 seconds. So you're safe for testing there. You're, at the worst case, you hook up to the wrong wire, grounded, it doesn't do anything because the key's on and there's no power being sent back. But with it grounded, it's going to go to empty. With it ungrounded, it's going to go past full. So if that gauge sweeps like that, you've either got a ground problem back there or a thing. Now, what's the gauge read now that it's broken?
It 99% of the time it just sets on E.
Okay, if it's sitting on E, that means your ground is fine because it has to have a ground to go to E. So your ground is working. Okay. Unplug it, see if it goes to full. If it does, the problem's in the sending unit. And guess what? You get to take it back out. Or just keep the tank full.
Yeah. At least it'll come apart easier this time.
Yeah.
And you shook all the rust out that that's laying on the floor.
It's either second time. It's even easier than that if you get a Sawzall out and just cut a small hole in the top of the bed and put a patch over it.
I thought of that.
Might as well.
We see a lot of trucks come in where they've cut it and then they just flap it up and then tack it back down again. Makes it a little, if it's a farm truck or whatever around here, you just got to make it work. You got to do what you need to do.
Weld it right over that tank. It's a great place.
I probably cut it on the wrong side. All right. Hey, thanks.
Tom, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the End of the Hood Show. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you.
YouTube certified mechanic. Yeah, that's not quite what they mean by certified mechanic. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the End of the Hood Show. We're going to talk to Danny in Mississippi in just a second, but we have some guests in studio. You want to just say?
Yeah, I could introduce them now.
Who's here?
If you're watching the YouTube feed and you looked and you're like, why are there so many people in there? There's an audience.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got some of my, I'm just going to say it as it is, some very, very good industry friends here that at our annual convention for ARA in Birmingham, Alabama, one of the things we tried this year was to do an experience auction. And so our executive director challenged each one of us to come up with an experience that we could auction off for our scholarship program.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, geez, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Who wants to come to South Dakota? Who's going to take the time to come to South Dakota? And we do get a lot of people that come and tour our facility because we're kind of a enigma being out here in the middle of a farm field in our industry that how in the heck do these guys do this out here? So I thought, okay, we'll open it up and people can come visit. I'll sell my birthday. We'll have a birthday experience. And because that happened to tie in well with the High Bank Nationals, which are at Houston Speedway, what's proving to be, by the numbers, the richest paying sprint car race in history, I believe, Mike, right? Saturday night, possibly, here at our local dirt track. And so we auctioned off that experience, and we ended up kind of having some fun with it and splitting up the auction. And I didn't realize that people were bidding on it and somebody else was bidding on it. So we split it up into 3 things. And so we got 3 different people that spent a bunch of money to support our scholarship for our trade association. And so they're here for the next few days hanging out with me to steal my birthday. My wife and I, our anniversary. It's actually Russ's birthday today as we're recording live. And Chris, is it your birthday?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not having one this summer.
You're skipping yours?
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that works out well.
Yeah.
So they're here, and they just got into town last night, and I think I'm just going to give you a quick introduction. We got Mike Kunkel, and Mike is from Texas, and he has been one of the foremost consultants in our industry, and he owns a company called Profit Team Consulting, and him and his wife, Rachel, she went back to do some other things, are here, and so we're happy to have them here. And then we've got the Green family from GNR Auto Parts in Oklahoma City, and we are partners in a group called the Vehicle Recyclers Group. And last time they were here was probably 2001 or 2002, somewhere in there, I'm thinking. And that was before we had really changed this facility quite a bit. And so they've got 3 generations here of their business. And so we've got the patriarch, Alan Green, and his son Greg, who's a similar age to me. We've shared a few Crown and Cokes together, and his son Nate, who's getting involved in their business. And so they're sitting in the studio here from GNR Auto Parts in Oklahoma City. And then we've got Mr. J.C. Cahill and his wife Holly, and they're Florida people now. And J.C. is a kindred spirit of mine when it comes to high speed, low drag. And I think Mike probably would give us both a run for our money. We got some pretty hyper people in this room right now, and I don't know if I'm going to keep them in those chairs for 2 hours. I already gave them a free pass to walk out if they need to. But Mike and Holly own a company called VinMatch Pro, and that's a current thing that they've brought to our industry. It's a game changer for our industry to get more VIN data, to be able to help salespeople be more accurate in the parts that they sell. And JC and Holly have also been consultants in our industry. They help. I can't remember how many people I run into, and I'll start talking to them, and they say, "Oh yeah, Mike was here. Oh yeah, I had JC here, and he's helped us out before." And I these side conversations will come up, and Holly's advised me on buying, and just different things that have came up. And they also own a self-service yard called Pasco Auto in what's that? Easy Pullet in Pasco, Florida. And so they've got industry experience, and so we're just happy to have them all here. We're gonna have a lot of fun together and just talk shop and tour the Nordstrom's facility. We're gonna go out and have some dinners. We're gonna go to the races. Saturday, we're going to shoot some things and blow some things up, maybe. So we'll just see what happens. It's kind of organic right now, so there is not an official script. So we'll see what happens here.
All right, let's talk.
My son Riley's sitting in the corner hanging out.
Sure,
so.
I've met him.
Yeah, he's old news.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Mississippi and talk to Danny. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Danny, what can we do for you?
Yes, sir. My wife bought a 2019 Range Rover Evoque. I hear it's a trap, but anyway.
Did she buy it on her
leaky
own?
Windshield.
No advice from you?
She did.
Okay, but you said that with a very specific. That was very noticeable.
Yes,
it's a trap.
Yes. Of course, they're renowned for leaks, and it has had some water in it. The only problem we have with the vehicle right now, the leaks are fixed. The emergency flashers run constantly. There's nothing unplugged.
She can get to the store fast.
Yes, sir. You can. There is a circuit board. Go ahead. I
said the only problem, right?
Yes.
The lights
well, right now it is. Yes. Yes. We've been through the circuit board in the dash with a control switch in it. The only other thing I know of is a body control module. We have not had it reworked, but I wondered if you had any other tips, anywhere else to start.
Have you looked at it with a scanner yet?
We have no issues.
Have you looked at the data on the scanner or just the codes?
Data on it. Had it scanned. Had a guy that does it for a living scan it, and he saw no issues as far as switch. No codes related to that.
Russ, what are you sneaking up on? What would you try to?
Were you looking at the body control module when you were looking at this?
He looked at all the modules actually. I didn't realize it has 3 or 4, but yes, he did look at all modules.
It's probably got 50.
Yeah, it's got over 30 for sure.
It might, yeah.
You need to look at the airbag system.
Okay.
Look at the airbag system and see if it's commanding the hazard lights on. Because when that vehicle's in a collision, it turns the hazard lights on and they won't shut off until it's reset.
Okay.
So it's very likely that he's looking at the data. He scanned all the codes, used a snap-on scanner or something that read all the codes, and there was nothing in there. And there's going to be nothing in the body control module about that. But that SRS module for the airbag is going to send a signal out and turn those on. And one way you can go around that is disconnect that battery.
Out of the blue.
Yep.
It's not. They hadn't been on since we bought the vehicle. Just here and driving, they popped on.
Could have got wet too if you had some water in there.
Yes.
They put that airbag module on the floor, so it's a great place for the harness to get wet. They actually had a few of them that did some recalls on the harness on those for wicking water into them. Did you have yours wet, Shannon?
Mine's so old, it's been very wet.
Right. But when it was wet when you bought it,
yes.
Was that module?
No, it sat up a little bit higher than where the problems
were.
Fine, my problems were, and this was an older Range Rover that I got through our salvage here, And we had gotten it because they said that the sunroof was remained open and it got rained in really hard. And that wasn't the case. They had plugged sunroof vents and all the water was running down the channels, or all the wires run down the side. So all the butt connectors were corroded. And I wasn't original to find that. I think a YouTube mechanic pointed me to it. And it's kind of fun when you tear out the right side wires and you start fixing wires and all of a sudden your left side seat starts working. And so when that stuff's on a closed area network like that, it's just like a computer network at home. And if you have a module that's on that network that's not working right, it's going to cause havoc with the rest of the system. And the water issue combined that Russ is talking about, that I would have never thought of that. I was sitting there looking at Russ like, how do you think of that?
It could be a ton of other things, but obviously
it could be the button is stuck.
Already looked at.
Yeah.
You've already looked at everything. You're looking all over. That's why you're calling us.
Correct.
So that.
Well, and we have solved the water issue. Hopefully, we've had everything resealed, and that'll be a good place to start.
Yeah, the airbag systems that turn on hazard lights. It's very common for this to happen. I've had at least a dozen of these calls over the years, and that was related to an airbag system turning those on safety-wise. You leave the road, even if the airbags don't deploy, you leave the road hard enough, it'll turn them on.
You have a pre-event, they call it, where the sensors are all saying, oh gosh, we're about to go off. Oh, no, nope, not quite yet. Hold your fire.
But it still sets
off trouble codes.
Like if you were to drive a Corvette really aggressively and drive through a ditch and ramp back onto the road, they might come on. They might come on.
He's trying to pick on me.
What? No, that's just an example.
Yeah, that's an example.
It's a random example.
Yeah, it is a random example.
Danny, thanks very much for the
sensitive
call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here. Do you just think we would tell cool stories about you?
Yep.
Well, they're
prop me up a little bit here.
Oh no! No!
It's okay.
Let's go.
They know me well.
Let's go to Kansas and check in with Bradley. You're on the Under the Hood Show, Bradley. What can we do for you?
My '86 F150 302 engine. I'm not getting no spark to my distributor. I got a newer coil. I got a newer ignition control module on it, and underneath the dash there's a ignition relay that's newer too. So I got 12 volts. I got 12 volts going to the coil from the ignition switch. And I took the connector off the distributor, and I've found voltage there too.
Then you're halfway there. So you've got power at the ignition switch, going to the coil, going to the module. We just need the ground on the other side of the coil to trigger on and off. And what does that is the module that you've replaced outside of the distributor and that pickup coil inside of the distributor. It is extremely common for the pickup coil in that distributor to fail. We were replacing them when they were 3 years old when those trucks came up. So I would put the new pickup inside the distributor. And if you have replaced that module recently, you're good. But if you haven't, I would do them both as a pair. And more than likely, it's going to start sparking again because you've already got power. And we know we have ground because we're hooked to the end of the block.
866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you.
That's all you got to do to fix it? I could have paid a guy $1,000 to do that. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you miss an episode of the Under the Hood Show, you can always find it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the episode on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel and join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Leslie King, congratulations from our friends over at BerkeleyOneClassics.com. They're celebrating over 50 years of collector car coverage.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Over.
I wonder how many cars they have that they've had since the beginning.
Oh,
I like to ask these questions.
Any? I bet they.
I bet
Are
they
you talking
do.
about their cars or how many they've insured?
Like insured? Are there any? What from like year one?
Maybe
Are there any still?
We can count out the same owner. Maybe a father gave it to a son because he's probably dead by now, right? I mean,
That was going hard.
well, think about it. 50.
Wow, that
If
took-
you insured your car
Yep,
Jeez.
I do.
50 years ago, and it was a Berkeley One Classics, that means it's already older because it wouldn't have been a classic back then. So it would have been older. You probably would have been older owning that car.
And 50 years ago, you were probably smoking.
Yeah.
You know, you were probably
Yeah.
smoking cigarettes.
Probably
and
a
stuff.
smoker.
What's that got to do with
Yeah.
anything?
Well, 50 years for a smoker versus.
Oh,
you
you're
know.
talking about the death now.
Yeah. Because he's over there killing everybody
whoa,
off.
Whoa, wait.
I'm just
No,
trying to.
We know for a fact there is one that's still insured by Berkeley One Classics.
The fire truck.
We know, yeah.
Yeah.
W.R. Berkeley
See?
still owns the fire truck that he insures.
Probably not a smoker.
No, probably not. So there's one. We know there's one. That may be the only one. I don't know.
Got a fire truck if he starts.
It's a good question for us.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Nebraska and talk to Gavin. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Gavin, what can we do for you?
Hey, I got an 87 Blazer, and it's got the 350 with a TBI, and I put a new fuel pump on it and a new fuel filter and fuel lines, but I'm just not getting pressure up to the throttle body. I can run the engine on gas if I just dump it down the manifold or down the TBI. I was wondering what I should be looking at next for trying to fix this to get it to run again.
You mean you're not getting fuel pressure or you're not getting any fuel out of the injectors?
Yeah.
Have you checked
It's
pressure?
not getting any fuel. Yeah, I haven't checked
All right.
pressure yet, but I pulled the line off of the pressure side of the throttle
Right.
body, and there is fuel getting up to the TBI unit.
And then you probably have pressure. That one runs 7 to 9 pounds, and sometimes a little more.
Yeah, compared to the 60 of the modern system, that's
Right.
a big difference.
You need to find that fuel
Yeah.
pressure. It's got a relay on the firewall on the passenger side up above where the air conditioning, the HVAC box is. It's under that area on the
Okay.
back there where the cover goes. And that powers it up. It's got a prime pigtail in there. You can
Yeah.
prime it if you want. But, you know, if you've got 7, 8 pounds, you're good. Now, this engine, it'll spark without a computer. You take the computer out and throw it in the lake. It'll work just fine. But it won't have fuel.
Yep.
Because that only controls fuel. So it uses the pickup in the distributor to give it the RPM signal, which tells it when to go ahead and deliver that fuel. So if you took the distributor out and you just spun it by hand with the key on, you're going to see the injectors work. I've done that before with a
Yep.
test distributor. I just plug it in and spin it and see if they're going, if I want to test that. I think I threw that out years ago because we just didn't do them anymore. And then I got one in like 2 summers ago to do that. I had to test it. But that's a good idea. I would say plug a scanner into it and read. If you have an RPM signal on that scanner, then that's a start. We know the computer's getting the signal. Then
He can read that on that 87. They can.
oh
get-
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can
Just-
still read
You
it
don't, you, don't
OBD1.
need a, you don't need a scanner the size of the side of your garage.
No, just an old OBD1, which most people don't seem to have anymore. I had a guy come into the shop,
Sure, they don't.
a girl, a couple weeks ago, and said nobody's got an OBD1 scanner. They can't help me. I'm like, where'd you go? The auto parts store. I'm like, no, they're not going to have that. So I dusted ours off and pulled it out. Of course, it wasn't dusty. It
It
was in our
wasn't
shop.
dusty. No.
Anyways, they make a thing called a Noid light, a test light, a low voltage test light that like a digital one will do as well. That you connect between that pink hot wire and that white wire on either one of the sides of the injectors. And as that motor cranks, it should flash. If it doesn't flash, we either don't have power coming into that injector or the computer is not grounding the other side of it. So start with the RPM signal, see if you've got that, plug a Noid light into that injector, crank it, see if it's blinking. If it's not, then we know we've got RPM, we've got a bad computer or a bad wire going up there. You've checked for power at that
Okay.
injector, right? I'm sure that's what it seems like most everybody does.
Yep, I just took it off and put a 9-volt battery in it.
And
The
turned it
injector
on.
clicked like it made noise, so I'm assuming that it was still good.
If it clicks and
is it-
fuel comes out of it, so if you turn the key on and click that thing within the first like 1 to 2 seconds, you should get some fuel bleed out of it. If you wait too
Yep.
long, the pressure only stays on for 3 seconds and shuts off.
Could that oil sending even be a bad and it's not giving the signal to keep the fuel pump going?
That That turns on and keeps pressure once it starts. Yeah. So you got a pink wire going to the fuel sending unit or the oil pressure sending unit right there on the back of the block behind the distributor. And that turns on that fuel pump 100% while the engine's got oil pressure. Otherwise, you only have it for the first 3 seconds. So what usually happens if you turn the key and it cranks and fires and then just dies right away and it won't go. Sometimes you can crank, and then it will come back and go. That's usually an indication that sending unit is bad, and the wires melt on top of them.
I just ran across that enough times, and you've had to help me with that.
And they'll short and pull the whole thing down so where the relay won't do any good, even if it's got a relay in it.
Gavin, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150.
Don't you think that's borderline?
Borderline. It was definitely a Berkeley one. Classic.
Are you still there, Gavin?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, hold on. Don't say anything.
Gavin, we got your answer, right? You think you're good with stuff? We got to do something else with you now.
I think so. I think that'll get me going.
All right.
Okay,
so now your vehicle, these K series trucks are kind of crazy on the values. I think somebody in this room might have a real nice one. If I think I've seen a picture of him that he spent $1 or $2 on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a Berkeley One Classic, so we're going to play the Guess the Color game.
Get you a hoodie.
And you get a hoodie if what happens?
If he gets a hoodie. He's going to get a hoodie, yeah.
Because I thought, you guys kind of chastised me one time because I offered a hoodie to somebody like, well, we got the color right.
Because it wasn't the right car.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was horrible.
I'm off my game here a little bit because I've been gone. So, all right. So
it's white.
You think it's white? I
white.
think, no, it's not. I think
always was white.
In honor of J.C. Cahill, I think that it's red.
Oh, I was going to go red. I'll go blue because 250th, the whole thing. Stay with the theme. Gavin, what color is it?
Brown.
Gosh. Wah, wah, wah. We weren't even close.
Not even close. Gavin, stay where you are. Hold on a second. Producer Doug's
Is it at least a nice brown? Is it an okay brown?
No, it's not.
It's an ugly brown, probably.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have said ugly, but
is it that bronze color they had in '87, like the root beer color?
Yeah, it's like
it's better.
Color,
it's better.
And it's got like some metallic flake in it.
That's the
cool
one.
Color.
That's not brown. That's cool. That's not brown.
I take back my disparaging comment.
Because they made that color, which they put on the Trans Ams as well, and it was beautiful. And then they made the one that comes out of the wrong end of the baby that's not good at all.
Gavin, hold on a second. 866-594-4150. Let's go to Mississippi and talk to Jeff. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Jeff, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I have a 2009 Ford Fusion with a 2.3, and they're limited to four key fobs. It's a program key. But I have an engine light keeps coming on, and I have a Bluetooth OB2 hooked up to it, clear it. But it keeps repeating itself. Do I need to take it to Ford store? I have it reprogram the whole key and the computer.
All right, time out here, Jeff. We got to get some facts. The main problem is you can't get a key programmed, or what is the main problem you're trying to solve?
The main problem I'm trying to solve is two of the keys work. The other two I dealt with, but you're having a problem. The engine light keeps coming on. We're downtown. I mean, we're driving, and the engine light keeps coming on. We have a Bluetooth hooked up, and we clear it off, and it keeps coming back on. Do I have to go to the dealership to reprogram the whole computer?
Yeah, if you have two keys that won't work and two keys that do work, but they still turn in there, you've definitely got something going on with programming. But that car is able to have, depending on which system it's got in it, either 9 or 14 keys, because they use these for fleet vehicles.
So you just pass them around the family?
Well, you got a fleet vehicle, you got rental cars, you've got if you have one here and you have 14 employees that want to drive that car and each one's assigned a key, then you know who's got the car. Key number 7's gone. Tim's got it.
If you work at a circus, and
you go.
I mean, you think of all the clowns you could pack in that thing.
But what I'm guessing is it may have had all the keys. This may be an off-lease car from a rental fleet at one point, or a business utility car, whatever, police. So
somebody that was very forgetful.
They may have had all the keys programmed. And when they try to put the extra 2 in, they'll turn the key, but they won't program because it's full. So you need to go into the dealer or an independent shop that can do it. Erase everything out of there. Program the keys. You need to have every key you have for that vehicle with you when they do it. Otherwise, they won't be able to do it. You need to do all 4 at once,
Right.
but you erase them all and put the keys in there. But you can see, I mean, if you had access to the VIN data on the original vehicle,
Yeah.
you could look and see if that was a fleet vehicle or if it was a private vehicle. If it was a fleet vehicle, you're going to know right away what the problem is. And before you spend all your money and waste it in programming, if it was only set up for 2 keys to begin with, you would know that.
I hate to
Okay.
dive back in on this, Jeff, but I guess I'm a little confused about one other thing else. What was the comment about the Bluetooth? Is that the scanner you have hooked up, or is that some other Bluetooth device you're trying
No,
to use?
the Bluetooth was hooked up to an OB2 system, trying to clear out the system. But while you driving the line, the engine light keeps coming on.
Yep.
Okay, all right. I assume that. I just wanted to make sure that's what you were talking about.
If you got problems with the keys, I would start with that, get it reprogrammed, get the keys to work, and then see if you still got codes, because that may just all be related to some issues with the data in the computer.
You could also just throw them away and have 2 keys like a normal person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always an option.
Until you lose those 2,
Yeah,
and then
that's
since
true.
you need 2 keys to program it, then you're really
Good thing
in trouble.
good thing this isn't a Lexus.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show. 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to Louisiana and say hello to Kelly. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Kelly, what can we do for you?
Good morning, gentlemen. I've got a 2022 Toyota Tacoma. A couple of months ago, I had it in for service, regular service, oil change, tire rotation, and a lot. They cleaned the negative hole on the battery because it had the green gunky stuff. That's a technical term, I think. It's green gunky
Sounds good
stuff.
to me.
Yep.
Yeah. And after that, the rear window, there's a rear window on the back of the cab that there's a button on the dashboard where you can open and close that. That stopped working. And with the headlights, there's a setting on the headlights that it's off, on, or auto. And auto is that the lights come on automatically, as well as go bright and dim automatically, which is a feature I use quite a bit. But those 2 features stop working after the battery service.
And you're not happy. And you're not happy about that, are you?
I'm not happy about that. It was. I'm particularly not happy when I called back and said, "Hey, this is what happened," and they said, "Well, there would be 2 hours of diagnostic to figure out what's going on." I'm like, "Wait a minute." So anyway,
I would like to have
is
them give you a
there-
better answer than that.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, me
proper
too.
response.
particularly since I bought about 12 vehicles.
Yeah.
Maybe I will go talk to the service manager, but was just wondering if there was a way to narrow down the etiology or the cause of the
Oh, yeah,
the wrongdoing
there is.
or the malfunction.
But, maybe they're listening. And, the proper response to that is always, we'll take another look at it because we could have missed something. And then when they come in, then you have the power to say, look, it's in front of me. I have this in my hands. This is not our problem. And I can show you why and prove it very clearly. If you can't prove it very clearly, you just got to fix it. And if you're wrong, you've already said you were wrong. So the customer loves you. But in your case, they probably could have used a battery maintaining, a vehicle voltage maintaining device on the car to keep power to your vehicle while the battery was disconnected. What probably happened is when it disconnected, they cleaned it, they hooked it back up, there was a slight voltage spike, and it just got some stuff whacked out, which for you might be as simple as just disconnecting the battery for about 5-10 minutes. When you disconnect it, turn the headlights on so it'll really draw all the current out. Turn them back off, and then connect that cable back up and see if everything works. My guess is it's probably going to work. I had a Cadillac in last week, just before we did the show last week. They came in, said they just had a battery put in it, and now his radio wouldn't work. The screen was just all lines. I asked one of the guys, just disconnect that battery for him, see if that takes care of it. So they did that, fixed the problem. It's as simple as that. You get a little voltage spike when you disconnect it. So they need to maintain that battery when they disconnect it to prevent those things.
Yeah. Well, I just, of course, you know what you do when you assume, but I assumed that they would do that at the shop because I
They
did
should.
have to reprogram all the presets on the radio. So I knew that. And per your advice in previous shows, when I need to replace the battery, I'll do it with an AGM battery. But
Good idea.
well, that's good. So disconnect the negative.
Either one,
cable.
negative or positive. Pull it off, and just leave it off there for 10 minutes, and then hook it back up, and it's probably going to fix this issue. But if you had to reprogram the radio presets, it was already done. And for us, I like to keep power to there because if a customer comes in with a new enough vehicle, I don't want them to have to reprogram memory seats, memory mirrors, radio
There's
presets.
a lot of settings in these vehicles anymore.
Air conditioning presets are all part of that memory, and that's just a pain in the butt. And if they leave, they're not going to say a word to me. They're just going to go, but they're going to be like, I got to do this and I got to do that. But if they're done, they may or may not catch it. But if they do, they're going to be like, oh, wow, they put all that back in for me. That was a lot of work. Well, it wasn't a lot of work. All we did was keep power to it.
What is this still the original battery in that truck? I know you brought up about the AGM.
Yes, sir. It is.
That's why it's
I bought
green.
it in December of 21, and I've got about 33,000 miles on it.
I think if that battery, when you start getting the green gunk, there is gases releasing out of around that
It's
post.
leaking.
It's leaking, or else you wouldn't have that. And so that gases mix up with the air, and you start getting that green gunk. I would replace that battery immediately, and like you said, get a good AGM battery because you have 22 Tacoma's got a lot of electronic systems as you're experiencing right now.
Oh, yeah. And make sure you've got it good and clean. That CRC makes some great battery terminal cleaner, and you it's cheap, so just use the heck out of it and really clean those cable ends, because even if you put a new AGM battery in it, if there's corrosion down in that cable, it's coming the other direction.
Toothbrush.
It's like a wick, a toothbrush,
Yes.
and a
Yeah.
dead
Chris, you
bull
want
hammer.
that job, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I would like that.
You could do it all day long up at our place.
All right. I'll do it. But
Yeah.
only when it's nice out.
And then he's got to be there all the time.
Yeah, I don't want it to be too hot or too cold. I'll come in a couple times a year.
We've got air
I'll get 'em
conditioning and heat, Chris. You're good.
I can do it inside?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
inside.
in. Kelly, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. My power window doesn't work on my slider. Come on, guys.
I think the one that
That's big.
the one that would frustrate me the most would be the automatic headlights. I get spoiled by that one.
Boy, do I. Totally.
The auto lights on and off, and then the automatic beam, high beam.
We were renting a car last week, and I was like, what the heck? This thing's garbage. Doesn't have the... And then it did. I just hadn't turned it on yet.
The auto headlights, guys, or the auto headlights when yours has it on the Honda, right?
Mhm.
Do you ever find that occasionally like if you're coming around a corner and it's on high and then it goes to low and then it comes back to high for a second, back to low, and then somebody flashes their lights at you because they thought you were flashing your lights?
No, mine works 100% perfectly all the time. I'm shocked.
Some of them are amazing. My Yukon, so I know yours does it. My Yukon, it'll flash somebody just randomly every once in a while. Even on the highway, down the interstate, we're coming towards each other for 2 minutes, and all of a sudden I get within 200 yards of them, flat.
Catches the eyes of a raccoon in the ditch.
Something
fix
nice,
that.
shut it off.
You should fix that.
It's
Let's talk to Dean.
Don't tempt him.
in California.
Don't tempt him.
Dean, you're on the Under the Hood show. What can we do for you?
Hey, I have a 2007 GMC Sierra, and I keep on getting a PO442 sensor code,
Evap.
and I already replaced. Yeah, I replaced the gas cap. I replaced the purge valve, and I also replaced the carbon. I forget what I call it.
Vapor canister, fuel vapor canister.
Yeah, the canister.
Yep, charcoal canister,
Yeah, 'cause
whatever.
I basically looked. I looked online, and they said those are the three things that you would need to do. So I did them one at a time. I saw it, and I waited to see if the sensor would go on, and eventually it did. And so now I did all three, and so now the sensor still comes on. And I actually also checked the wiring, or the hoses and everything, and the hoses seem to be fine. So I'm not sure where I go from here.
So, Russ, the parts cannon has already been fired.
Well, you've got all the parts on there new, so assuming they're all good, if they are, that leaves either something functional like the computer's not turning it on, or you've got a broken wire because the connector's right at that canister vent valve in the rear. They're famous for getting corrosion right in the connector itself. You won't be able to see it if you unplug it, but if you were to pull the insulation back in the back where there's a pink and white wire there as it goes in, and they will corrode there and not make a good connection. If you find that spot, you can test it. If you had a scanner, you could turn it on and turn it off and jump across the two of those with a voltmeter and see if it turns on and off. My guess is it's probably not, because you've either got that or you got a leak, one of the two, and you've looked at it. Without using a smoke machine, you never know. But if you're not getting power back there, Dorman sells the canister, they sell the vent valve, they sell the purge valve, but they also sell that little pigtail that has about 6 inches of wire on it. And the reason they sell it is because they go bad. And we've had a lot of those under there. So you could even just command it on with a scanner, even if it's a multi-directional one from your phone, and then just wiggle that pigtail slightly. And if it clicks on and off, that's what's going on. You cut it off and put a new one on. The Dorman ones come with heat shrink connectors and everything. You might even just put it on and see if it works, because it's cheap. It's like $14.
Okay.
You know, and Chris, we've said it before. If you have a vehicle,
Dean's going to do that. He's going to spend that $14.
He is. He should.
That's cheap.
The cannon's already been fired.
Cheaper than diagnostics.
But if you have a vehicle that you're working on yourself a lot, and you look up on Dorman's website and you see what parts they have for sale, there's a good chance that they don't make parts for fun. Those are things that are commonly failing. They have a high failure rate, or else they wouldn't make the replacements. So just something. It's a good way to check things. Sometimes.
So it's basically close. It's right close to the canister. Then
it's on the canister. It's attached to it on that vehicle. You'll see the canister, and then the ones that aren't attached to the canister are a little closer. They're right above the rear axle, about a foot from the canister. They're real close. It's on that round evap canister vent valve in the back.
Dean, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. That'll do it for Hour 1. Hour 2 is coming up. 866-594-4150. And don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can always find it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the show on our YouTube channel.
You're listening to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics, Shannon Nordstrom and Russ the Super Tech Evans. Shannon is an ASE engine and parts specialist, and Russ is an ASE Master Certified Technician with extensive factory drivability training. The Under the Hood Show is heard weekly on this and other great radio stations.
With Russ Evans, this is Shannon Nordstrom, thanking you for tuning in to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show. Have a great day, and remember, PTLA.
The opinions heard on this program, based on the many years of experience of Russ and Shannon, are offered for entertainment value and as a guide to your repair needs. No guarantee to repair or cause is given or implied. Always check with your favorite certified technician and follow all safety procedures before attempting repair. The Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics is reproduced and distributed by Prairie House Productions. Have questions for the Motor Medics? Call our 24-hour toll-free number, 866-594-4150. All content of the Under the Hood Show is the property of Nordstrom's Incorporated. Copyright Nordstrom's Automotive and may be reproduced with our permission. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to do the same.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. We've got calls coming in from all over, so we want to get to those because the Watts line bill is through the roof these days.
I used a reference the other day in the shop with a couple of our team members that got no reaction, and it's not that big of a deal, but I realized that the one was a 20-something and the other one was, I don't know what his excuse was. It was Jim. He had no excuse for not knowing when I made a Knox Blocks reference.
That's going back a ways.
Some of the really young ones are getting more than you think, though, because I got one that's in his 20s in our shop, and I'll make a reference just to see if he gets it. And he'll get it. I asked him the other day. I said, "Do you know who Hong Kong Phooey is?"
And you were, and why?
Surprised?
Did he know?
Yeah, I guess his stepdad taught him a lot, watched a lot, made him watch a lot of stuff. Because I bet these people in this room, except for one, you do not know who Hong Kong Phooey is, do you? But everybody else does, right? Exactly. The world's greatest superhero. Yeah. You don't know, do you?
Let's go to.
I don't know.
You don't know? Oh boy.
So
All
Knox
right.
box is out the window.
Yeah, I guess. Let's go to Idaho and talk to John. John,
Russ was looking at me like he doesn't know.
John, you're on the End of the Hood show. Save us, John. What can we do for you?
Not a problem. I know who Hong Kong Phooey is.
There we go.
Nice. We all had three
Yeah.
channels
I
growing up,
go-
and that was
yeah.
one of them.
No kidding. And being mad when Lawrence Welk came on. I get it.
I got that one.
Yeah. No offense against Lawrence Welk, but anyway, I'm 62 years old, and I refuse to grow up. So I am used to working on GM cars, hot rod cars. I sold 69 Firebird, which I beat myself to death every day for, and then went through a phase, 20 years, I was raising kids, getting them done. And so when I got older, I bought a Mustang with the 5-liter, had a good time with it, but I couldn't fit the grandkids in the back seat. So I bought a Challenger, 29 Challenger, or a 2019 Challenger, with the 6.4-liter Hemi. It gets about 2,500, 3,000 miles, maybe a year. I change the oil every 2,500 miles with the full synthetic. But first Dodge hot rod I've got, did a lot of research on that motor. Super impressed with the power and the torque. I don't rod it, but maybe 4 or 5 passes a year, I'll go out to the drag strip on grudge night and race the kids and teach them what it's all about. But my question is to you guys, pretty well documented lifter issues that can occur, anytime between, 30 to 100,000 miles, just depends. So I'm doing the extra oil change, sacrifice the oil, not the motor, trying to do everything I can to keep the lubricity up. So my question is, if I change the cam and lifters and delete the MDS, that multiple displacement system, will that take care of that lifter collapse issue they're having? I mean, it's documented. I'm not bashing on Dodge. I love the car. It's the funnest hot rod I've ever driven. But will that take care of that issue?
Is this an automatic or a manual?
It's a 8-speed automatic.
Okay, well, the only way it's going to fix it is if you put a louder exhaust on it, headers, and a larger cam in it at the same time, and a stall converter. Then you'll be happier, and the car will be happier, and you won't have a problem with it. Yes, the problem is the cam and the lifters. Throw them away. I mean, this doesn't go for everybody, but for your case, I would definitely.
Yeah.
I would, because what you do with it, I would change the exhaust slightly. I would put a different cam and lifters in it. You'll be happier with the way it sounds. If you like the Firebird, you're going to like that a lot better. Plus, it's not going to have the failure. You're not going to have the problem with the lifter collapsing.
Let me ask you, with the exhaust, why would that make a difference other than just like in the rumble? I mean, I drive it during the summer.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've got to sound cool.
Wouldn't your smile be the smile be worth it?
The smile's always worth it. It's brown on the wife's face. I can't get past. But
They do make some really nice cutouts for that car too, so you can turn it on and off if you want. They make electric. They make some electric cutout system. We first saw it at our friends over at Dakota Digital. Were developing it with a company for a while, and then they don't do that anymore. The other company does. I'm not sure who that was, but they had it for the Camaro. They had it for the Mustang. They had it for the Challenger, and it just dumped it out to another set of pipes and went around the mufflers. worked great. It was a really nice system, but it's always nice to hear it as long as it's not too loud and you can still hear it. But yeah, getting rid of that other cam, it's an expense, so people don't do that. They're asking us on the show a lot how to fix that. And, there's additives and things you can put in there. But, really to fix that, and you got such low miles, if you got the time and you're not running it that much anyways, you could go with a cam swap and really, you'd be more happy with you get a little more power out of it, a little different sound out of it. Even with the stock exhaust, it's going to sound different and better.
Yeah, the issue that I have with this is when I asked about a cam lifter swap, and of course I was going to bump it. There's just something so sexual about a choppy cam lobe. I can't explain it on air. I don't want to.
With the right exhaust.
You went right after that.
Yeah.
well, but they said the biggest issue is finding the right tuner, because there's so many Wildcat tunes out there that and apparently Dodge, you've got to go to Dodge to get that ECM opened up to tune. But if I can get rid of that lifter collapse issue with a little bigger cam, it's probably worth the $8,000 they quoted me to change that.
You could get somebody to do it for less than that with the tune, the cam, parts and labor and everything. You find a custom tuner that does it. If they don't, they know everybody that does that can get it done for you, and then they can get it tuned. But you have to send that computer in on that one to get it unlocked, not to Dodge. You can send it into the tuner. I think HP Tuners offers that on that model vehicle. But yeah, you're right. A lot of these computers are locked now. You can't touch them until you have them unlocked. And some of them, they're illegal to unlock, so they just won't do it. With like the diesels, with some of the emissions, they won't allow you to do it. The Canadian ones are already, and a lot of those get snuck across the border, but you cannot do it on a United States one of the modern ones.
I like that a lot of the newer vehicles are doing the exhaust cutouts right from the factory, so you can just change the tone,
like the Corvettes
for the situation.
New
Silverados have it.
They're in the muffler. They just go from a muffler to no muffler.
Our Bronco has it. It's kind of fun.
John, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. That's the happiest call we're going to have in months.
Unless it's Pat with the 96-year-old with the Mustang.
He wants to soup up his car even more.
Yeah.
You're saying, do it.
Do it.
And he gets to tell his wife, no, they said I have to do it. And this is going to, and it's got the cutout, so she's going to be, this really, oh man, this was a good one. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Die-hard car geeks, we love you. Folks that know nothing about cars, we love you too. Under the Hood, America's favorite car talk show.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to Minneapolis and talk to Greg. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Greg, what can we do for you?
All right. Good morning, gentlemen. I got a kind of an oddball question for you. I worked in law enforcement, and after the end of our shifts, we used to plug in all of our squad cars. And with all the talk you guys have been mentioning about the battery tenders, I'm just wondering if that's what it was that we were plugging in.
Some type of battery maintainer. Our partners over at Optima make a really nice battery maintainer that does all modes, all cars. For what you're specifically talking about, fleet vehicles and in law enforcement, things like that, a lot of times if they were along the wall where the cars would park, they've got 20 spaces and they've got cords coming out all the way. There was a different battery maintaining unit that Deltron used to make that would do like 20 to 80 cars. And they would just run the lines down the wall and plug in. So but it was maintaining the car.
It was kind of, it's the same concept, but not what.
Yeah, same concept.
Right. Not your consumer grade.
Right.
And like we used to have at the radio station with all those deep cycle batteries and all that.
And the cars, if you're driving them, they had power. But when you've got a lot of accessories or a lot of idle time on the police cars, they slowly lose their charge. They may start every time, but it's really hard on the battery to try to float that thing and keep it maintained. So therefore they plug them in and keep them at optimal voltage all the time. And it just makes the batteries last longer. We would see cars, years ago, we'd see them come in that were that type of fleet vehicle. The batteries, every year, they'd put a new battery in. They're like, well, it never goes dead. And then all of a sudden one morning it's dead. What's going on? It's because it's so low all of its life that if you keep it maintained, you won't have that problem. And then they go up to a 3 or 5 year battery. And a lot of those.
So my other question is then, is something like that available to purchase? I don't want one that I have to clamp onto the battery every time I park. I'd rather just get one that's installed where I can just plug it into a 110 volt cord.
I can answer that one.
Like the Optima, they'll do the same thing. Chris,
every one I've ever seen comes with leads that you can just bolt right on the thing, and you can stick the cord
run the
out
wire out the front,
out the grill.
Yep. Okay. Just so you can plug it in.
And then are you able to leave the car plugged in for,
years?
How long? So I live in Minnesota, but we've also got a house in the Bahamas, so we're here and there every 6 months.
I don't think you had to bring that up.
That was a nice flex you threw.
Yeah, I don't think you could have just said we live in Minnesota.
It's so hot all the time down there.
Bring the car with
Shut
you.
up, Greg.
So do you have battery tenders in the Bahamas on the vehicles there, or what do we got down there? Let's talk about this.
I just disconnect the batteries on the car, and every time we move back down there in the fall, I hook it up and charge it up. But
what about the yacht? When you leave down there,
your boats?
Do you leave it plugged in?
The helicopter battery's gotta have a draw.
But in all seriousness, when you get a proper, like the Optima battery maintainer, you can leave them plugged in, Russ said it, for years.
Mine's always plugged in.
It's going to sit there and it's going to pulsate that battery. It's going to just float it and electronically keep it happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a happy battery, and you don't have to unplug it all the time. You just leave it alone, and it's a good thing.
Okay.
It's just for people of certain generations, they just can't imagine that because they're used to the battery charger that weighed 40 pounds and it maybe smoke came out of it every once in a while.
Or a car that only thing that was the clock that was broken and 2 days after you bought the car, so you could literally leave it sitting a year and a half and it would start.
I think my first experience with a newer vehicle that I noticed was an 07 Tahoe that we had. And that was some of the first years where GM was really getting active with CAN bus networks and different things. And my wife went into a store, and I said, I'll just sit in here because it was a Sunday, and I was going to listen to the Vikings football game on the radio. Nothing better than listen to a radio game sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't out there for very long, and all of a sudden, dead battery. We were out there for, probably 20 minutes with the radio on. I'm like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
But these newer vehicles, they'll drain a battery down in a hurry. Once you wake up that system and all these modules start coming alive, you're pulling a lot of amps through that circuit.
I had stereos that could kill a battery in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I know you did.
Does that help you out there, Greg?
All 8 of them.
It did. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thanks very much for the call, and thanks for calling from Minnesota in summer versus from the Bahamas.
Saving us all
winter.
that long distance charges, right?
It's so hot down here,
I got a feeling that we're going to get a call from Greg from the Bahamas at some point.
So.
I sure hope he does.
or from Husan in Bahrain.
Yeah, there you go. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Brian. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Brian, what can we do for you?
Good morning, gentlemen. I've got a 2019 Jeep Compass Trailhawk. But my question is, and I've heard umpteen different versions about putting E88 in that vehicle. Some say yeah, some say no. You might end up with a vapor lock. And I figured, well, I'll come to the experts to find out just exactly, if a guy can or should stay away from it.
Let's start with the term E88 versus E85, because those
just
are
88.
88, just 88. That's where I think we're having a lot of confusion lately because some
pump label when you pull up.
E85 is what we call that product.
That means ethanol 85.
88 is just the octane of that.
Any number printed on a pump without a letter prefacing it is the octane. If it's on the button to start, 91, 90, 88, 87.
So 88 and E85 are completely different things.
Right. E85 is ethanol content up to 85%. 88 on a pump is an octane number, but it also is synonymous with
E15.
E15.
Right.
Always. Never anything different. It's always E15. So, yes, you're fine. It won't do a thing to that vehicle. It'll run perfectly. You're not going to get vapor lock because you've got fuel pressure. You can't have a vapor lock when you can have 100% alcohol in that tank. E100, you cannot vapor lock it on a modern fuel injected engine because you're under pressure. If you got at least 10 pounds of fuel pressure, you can't vapor lock E100. But if you have no fuel pressure, it's not going to run and you'll get a vapor lock. Vapor lock was very common on cars back in the early 90s, even with running E10, 91, 90, 88. That could still happen. We were talking about cars with very low fuel pressure. Sometimes they'd be down on an old worn out fuel pump, clogged fuel filter, 6 pounds, 4 pounds. It was pretty bad on throttle body. So people were getting a bad taste and they still remember that.
So just to be clear, Brian, are you talking about 88 on the pump or E85?
Well, right where we had the car, I've always put that, the E87, the 87 in it.
Okay.
And then I come out here I live in Minnesota. We come out here one day, out here to Sioux Falls one day, and I was going to fill up the car. And I went to the truck stop, and the only thing they had on there was either premium or E88. And there I thought, well, I've always put an 87 in. People over there say, oh, it's not good for the car. 87 is better. You can't.
Okay, just I'm going to just say this just in a different way probably, but if you have that Jeep Compass and you see the pump says 87, that's the standard fuel. 88 says 88, that's E15. If you look at the fine print, it probably says it somewhere nearby. That's E15. No problem. If you go to a pump that has blenders, then you start seeing the E letter and you might see E30, you might see E50, you might see the E85. And those are much higher alcohol contents, and you'd probably start, the higher you go up that scale, you'd start having some issues with how the vehicle would run. You'd turn on a check engine light initially because of the alcohol content, and then eventually it would start not running right. As the higher up that scale you get, I believe your vehicle could probably take E30 without much of a hiccup.
Yeah. But just stick to either the 88 on the big button or 87. You'll be just fine in that vehicle. It'll run well.
Nothing with an E in front of it would be
right.
best.
And ignore that. There's a lot of it saying right now, go with the lowest at the pump. Well, the lowest dollar at the pump is E85, and you don't want to do that unless you have a flex fuel vehicle, and you don't. So don't do that.
By the way, good job, industry. Way to
everyone.
confuse everyone all the time. Brian, good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's go to California and talk to Michael. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Michael, what can we do for you?
Hey, good morning. I have a 350 Chevy motor. It came out of a 72 Chevy pickup, and it's got a fresh motor in it. It's got about 60,000 miles on it now, and did a complete tune-up, wires, distributor, vacuum advance. Of course, that came on the distributor, so it's got points. And I got this flutter in it. When I take off, it fires right up. Okay, and then when I take off, it's got this flutter in it. And also, we just had the carburetor rebuilt, and I cannot figure out why it flutters. It's like it doesn't cut out all the way, but it just like kind of loses power. And I even checked the cam. I pulled the valve covers off and measured each lifter, and it seemed like they were like within tolerance. I can't figure out why this thing does it.
All right, Michael, stay right where you are. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if we can solve this problem. I say we, the three of us. I mean, it's
Russ.
It's equal. Russ, you work on that, though, while we're in the break.
I'll think about it.
866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
With over 2,000 episodes, and over 200 stations, Under the Hood has the knowledge to make your car feel good. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can find it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can always watch the show at our YouTube channel. If you subscribe to that and join the Hoodie Fan Club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Bryce Kellogg, congratulations from our friends over at Berkeley One Classic, celebrating over 50 years of collector car coverage. And just like today's show, lots of collector cars.
866-594-4150. We're talking to Michael from California. Recap what we got going here,
Well,
Shannon.
I'm pretty sure when we finish this call, we'll be talking to Michael about his Berkeley One Classic. He's got a 72 Chevy pickup with a 350 in it. And if I remember how he said it right, he's done some work to this. He's got high energy ignition in it. I think he got rid of the points and condenser. You did say that, didn't you, Michael?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
Points and condenser.
Okay, all right. I thought you had HEI yet. Okay, switched it over. That's what most
you
people
should do that.
That's what most people do.
That's one of the first things to help with this.
And is this a 4-barrel vehicle or is it a 2-barrel vehicle?
It's 4-barrel.
Okay, and he's got a flutter
Correct.
upon acceleration, and he's been playing around quite a bit and just hasn't been able to quite get rid of that flutter.
Well, it could. Is this camshaft a stock lift and duration cam, or has it been upgraded?
Stock.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And I use the zinc every oil change.
That's even better. So you've got that. We got that down. So hopefully we still have plenty of vacuum. So that shouldn't affect some things, because vacuum leaks will do this. Also, low ignition voltage will do this, or a dwell problem will do this. So I would get rid. It's not going to hurt anything to get rid of that point distributor and get yourself an HEI distributor, like a 1976 to 79, 80, before they went computer controlled. Just you take it out, you drop it in on top dead center, you're fine. It works. Time it, and you're good.
Okay.
That'll help with any
question.
low voltage.
Is that the same as Petronics?
It's electron. Well, no, you can buy a Pertronics for it. That'll work just as well too. I got one of those in Shannon's Range Rover. It's you just take the cap off and boom, you bolt it on, and it's an HE. Now it's an HEI. You've got a high energy coil sitting next to the distributor instead of the high energy ignition coil mounted in the distributor cap, which is fine. Then you don't have to take it out. You don't have to you can time it, but you don't have to move it.
And if you want to keep the original look of the vehicle,
Right.
if that's something you would do, otherwise the General Motors HEIs rebuilt and stuff are widely available. It used to be hard to get your hands on.
Pertronics unit is going to be so much better. That thing's amazing
Yeah,
when it works.
I'm real familiar with Petronics. As a matter of fact,
In
I took
California.
it out because I thought I had the tolerance on the adjustment on the Petronics inside the distributor a little bit off. So I adjusted that, and that didn't fix it either. So that's why I went back to the point. So I got a brand new coil and distributor, but the distributor's on points, and I got that set at about 18.
All right, so back up. You had the problem with that. You thought it might be ignition, so you tried adjusting that, which is the right thing to do, because it comes with a little piece of plastic to adjust that. You can just eyeball it too if you're really good. But you switched to points thinking you were going to fix that. I know somebody with a Range Rover had the same thing, and they had been going back and forth trying to figure out this with a box of parts.
It's a 68 Land Rover.
Same thing.
Yeah.
They're both red.
Yeah.
So if you have low voltage like this one did, it was only getting like 8 volts down to that thing. It didn't matter what you put in it. It's not going to work. And that thing fluttered for sure.
Oh, it fluttered
And
like crazy.
when you got it under a load, it
would
really
get to jerking.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay, so you're talking about the voltage coming from the coil?
You want to check the voltage going into the positive side of the coil, the ignition voltage. That should be battery voltage there with the engine running. If it's way low, if it's 7 or 8 volts, you got a problem. And a lot of those had a resistor wire built into the power wire if it had a non-resistor coil from the factory. You're right on the edge.
Okay, I actually put a resistor on the dash to go to the coil because one of my techs told me I'd fry my points if I didn't have it on there.
No, you only put the resistor in if you don't have a resistor coil. any modern coil is going to say resistor on it. So you either need a resistor if it doesn't have a resistor coil, or if it doesn't have one, do it the other way. To prevent the points from burning up, you turn the key off. You leave it off. If you turn it on and not on accessory with the engine not running, you'll burn those points up. And you'll see that pretty quick, or even melt the wire. But if you've got a coil that says resistor on it, that's not required. You want to make sure you have proper voltage. But once that's done, make sure you don't have a vacuum leak, and then make sure that carburetor is not trying to crack open the secondaries too early. There's adjustments on those carburetors to when they start to open as you're opening the throttle, because if it's not a twin pump carburetor, the double pumpers, it is not going to dump enough fuel in for the secondaries. If you start accelerating, you've got it at 30% throttle, and you've got secondaries that are cracked open already, it's going to fall on its face and flutter until it gets enough vacuum by engine momentum to pull that fuel in from the secondary. So you've got to watch that real close. But a few things to mess with. It sounds like it's just a fine tuning issue, but I'd check that voltage first. This is the Berkeley one.
What voltage should there be coming through?
Battery voltage. If you've got, with the engine running, if you've got 13.2 volts there, you should have within a half volt of that, whatever that battery's running at, with the engine running. Okay. And if, like I said, if it's down to 10 or 8, something's wrong.
Okay.
All right. I think this 72 Chevy pickup is going to be orange today, I think.
Is it, I have a question. Don't tell us what color it is. Is it one color or two colors?
It's Battleship Gray, and it's in a 34 International pickup.
I was going to say gray.
Game over.
Me
Michael.
too. Gray, Battleship Gray from an International. That's what I was thinking.
Michael, hold on a second. We're going to get you a hoodie. That is a Berkeley. That's all sorts of Berkeley classic there.
It is.
866-594-4150. Let's go to Mississippi and talk to Tim. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Tim, what can we do for you?
Yes, sir. I've got a 2020 Buick Envision. It had 112 miles on it when I bought it 6 months ago. I was given $13,000 for it, just cash out. And after about 4 months driving it, I mean, it runs like it's brand new. I mean, it's like a brand new car to me. Best car I've ever had by far. And I'm 54 years old. But I've got a knocking sound somewhere, and it sounds like right outside of my driver's side door. I've taken it to 4 or 5 different tire shops and had them to check the tires all the way around. They've had it on the lift looking for something that would cause a knocking sound, and we can't find anything. What on earth could it be?
2020 Buick Envision, and I'm assuming you meant 112,000 miles?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because if you had 112 miles and you found that thing, that's
good on.
Hell of a buy.
Yeah.
Good price.
Yeah.
Is the knock steady and increases with road speeds, or is it random?
It does increase with road speed. It sure does.
Okay, but is it a steady knock, 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 or is it random?
Time, yes, sir. It sounds like that. It sounds exactly like a wheel fixing to fall off. That's what it sounds like.
Like a duck, duck, knock, knock, but it's steady, but it's faster and slower as you go. Okay,
and
so that's
always
important, because if it comes and goes, it could be different things. Does it matter where you're driving? Does sometimes it seem to not be there as much as others?
If I'm just driving around town, you don't hear it that much unless you hit a bump or something. Then you can slightly hear it. But the worst is when you get it on the highway and you get up to 30 or 40 miles, over 30 or 40 miles an hour, and you can hear it super bad. Well, it just puzzles me, man. Like I said, and I tell the people in the tire shop, I say, I just want to be safe. I know they think I'm crazy.
I don't think it's tire.
But at first they didn't hear it. But now they do, because over time it's gotten louder.
I think it's a body part It's probably not a tire. It's probably either the windshield trim or the molding or something. I had one the other day in a Honda CRV, and a little piece of the windshield trim was torn, and only in one direction. It depended on the wind. So only one direction I could really hear it at 70 miles an hour. The other direction I couldn't. In town I couldn't hear it, but when you hit a little bump, you could hear it because it's plastic, that window trim, and it had a big crack in it. The air would get under it, and it would make the noise. And they said, that can't be it. But I could hear where it was at, and I rolled down the window and grabbed a hold of it, and it quit. And they're like, huh.
So in Tim's case,
may be that you've got a piece of trim
somewhere
that's loose.
Get
or
out the blue
flapping.
masking tape if that was the case.
You can do that too. Use painter's tape and go around the trim on the window, a little spot at a time. You don't have to do the whole thing, and see if you can find it or under on the side.
Wouldn't you think I'm going to look at Tim. Tim, you'd probably notice. Wouldn't you think if it was more of a clatter than a knock? You're defining something that sounds pretty deep.
Well, if you got a fender liner too or something.
Fender liners are bad. The trim underneath, but my daughter-in-law has an Envision, and she had a noise. Now, I'm just telling this because it was my own personal life experience. She kept hearing this noise, and we're like, nobody else could hear it. And finally, we took this thing stress testing a little bit on the drive right around the salvage yard here, and I found it, and it was the left rear sway bar link was broken, and it was broken in such a way that it had disjointed, and it would hammer against the sway bar in certain situations, and it was making a knock. And it came from the kind of the driver's side. It felt like under your feet, but it was actually coming from the left rear. And it was unusual that one was broken. I don't know if it was something that got hit or if something happened, but the left rear sway bar link was broken.
On the Camaro too, the left rear, and every once in a while it would just go bang.
Yeah.
But
this sounds so steady.
But if he's got a tire that's slightly out of balance, you've seen him going on the road.
Yeah.
If it's slightly out of balance,
it might be
moving,
popping that sway bar.
Good, very, very well. My sway bar link that was broken was sitting on top of itself.
Yeah, that's exactly
you
what
could
this
not
was.
see it broken.
I looked underneath there from every direction.
It's attached.
And finally, I had Riley. I go jump on this thing, and he was jumping on we had the door open, and we were hanging from one side, and all of a sudden, there it is. And I was like, it's right there. It was just a weird thing. They're hard to find sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But is that an all-wheel drive Envision or just a front-wheel drive?
It's
all-wheel drive. They're going to want to inspect and make sure they've looked at the shafts going to the back and all. I'm sure they're inspecting all that stuff. If it's rotating with noise, that still makes me think we got something like that going on. But check the sway bar links in the back,
and then fender liners and
all that kind of stuff.
Rattle things up down there.
Yeah.
866-594-4150. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Three friends talking cars. You decide if they know what they're talking about. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to Mississippi and talk to Ricky. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Ricky, what can we do for you?
Yes, I've got a 2008 Saturn Vue, and the car was running great, and we parked it and didn't get back in the car to crank it for about 5 or 6 weeks. And now it will not turn over. All the dashboard lights come on, and when you turn the key, everything goes off, and it will not even up. And you let go of the key and all.
I think his phone is plugged into that
Saturn.
There
He's
you go.
connected
right
to
now.
the
Yeah.
Saturn.
When he talks, it cuts out.
Yeah.
When he stops, it comes back.
Your phone's chopping up a little bit there, Ricky.
You've got a power problem coming from. At some point, it's disconnecting and then it's reconnecting. So what's happened? You turn the key, everything lights up, but you go to the start position, it goes dead. You let the key back, it comes back because when it needs that extra demand for the amperage, it can't do it. And you either got corrosion in a battery terminal right on the end, like right where it hooks to the battery, and you can't see it because it's down inside the terminal. That's pretty common on those cars. Or the other place these cars had a huge problem with, especially if they've ever had a transmission or an engine put in them, there's a stud bolted into the transmission. And then to that stud, there's a nut that holds the cable on. Well, people screw in the studs by hand, and they maybe tighten up some of them, or they'll put the nut on, and when they put the nut on, it moves the stud. So now the stud's loose in the case, but the nut's on there good and tight. So you pull on the cable and say, oh, it's good and tight, but there's grease in the hole, and it doesn't work, and it loses contact. Or the ground has the same thing. It's grounded to the stud, and then the engine mounts isolate all that so you don't have power, and you're losing it, and then it comes back. So I would say, check those very thoroughly. You can break it down and get a voltmeter out and check and find out exactly which connection it is that's bad. But I think that in this case, follow the negative cable from the battery down to the transmission, wiggle it, make sure that that's tight, the stud's tight that it's hooked to, and then take the cables off the battery, both of them.
Isn't it just dead?
Pull the cover off.
It's got enough juice to light the lights, but not start it because it's been sitting?
It's on, but you click. He says everything goes off. They disappear. If it was dead, they'd go dim.
So he's got power, is what we're assuming.
But they're going away, and then they come back. Usually that's an indication of either that terminal's got some green. You can peel the cover back on those GM ones and look at it, or it's going to be that ground. It almost sounds like it's that ground on that stud. I see so many like that.
I don't think so. I think he's saying it goes away and it's not, it's just fading. I think it's just a conversation here, a phraseology. Ricky, what, right?
Keep going, Chris. Yeah. You're onto something maybe here.
Does it totally shut off and come back, or does it start to dim like it's trying to start?
It totally shuts off and comes back.
That's what I thought. I agree. It's probably
you got it.
We got him in a good connection now.
Yeah.
I have to ask him some questions about this Saturn Vue.
Okay.
And it's not a Berkeley One Classic.
No,
we're not doing that. Refuse. But have you owned this vehicle for a long time?
I have not. I have actually purchased it from a friend of mine, and it belonged to his mother, and she went to the hospital for 4 or 5 weeks, and they parked it, and then after it got out of the hospital stay, that's when they decided they were going to use it, and it wouldn't do anything, so I purchased it. And
okay.
This is what
So is it a 4-cylinder with an automatic transmission?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It works good?
Looks great.
Amen. keep it going. I've got some friends in the room here right now that we have been involved in Saturn Vues that had transmission problems that had to be taken off the face of the earth.
It's probably had a transmission or two put in it, and that's probably what happened.
It's a good chance. So no, that's good. That's really good. It's I hope you can get that figured out, because when they worked good, they were good cars, and Saturn was kind of trying to copy the Toyota. GM was trying to copy the Toyota mindset with the Saturn brand when they started that, and I think they worked pretty hard at it, but just I don't know.
There was one last night on the highway, and
you saw one
behind me.
Okay,
and it was actually, it's kind of, does it ever scare anybody in this room when you're going down the highway and we're 80 here, so you set the cruise on 85, right? And you see a certain model of vehicle, you're 95. But when you see a certain model of vehicle and you say, that car is not safe to be following me at the speed I am going.
I don't worry about it if they're behind me.
Right. Ahead of me.
Now, if I'm passing them or they're ahead of me, then I'm getting by really fast.
An 08 Saturn Vue traveling at 85 miles an hour gives me a little concern.
Sure.
If it's good shape, no. But the shape that I told you guys, I told you about the control arm on the guy with the Toyota.
No, I don't. If you did, I forgot it.
Oh, you were gone. I told him 2 weeks ago, I'm going down the highway. I'm doing 80, so I'm speed limit. I'm going on the highway. I look at this car and I see it kind of do a thing. So it catches my eye. And I'm like, what's hanging underneath the car? And as I get a little closer, my curiosity gets me, and I'm looking. The control arm, where it mounts on the rear end of the driver's side control arm on this Toyota Corolla, was off. It was just hanging there.
So there was nothing.
There was nothing on the rear of the control arm to the body. You know, they rust out there. It was just hanging. and the guy driving the car. Of course, it's doing like this too, but he's trucking along at that speed like everything was great. And it is not uncommon. Since they pulled the inspection stickers on cars in Texas this last year, a year ago, my friends that have shops there have told me more cars they see them in weird places, wrecked, and just like, how did that happen? No inspection sticker. And that's some of the stuff that should never be on the road.
Well, I've been, out and about in different places, and trying to remember where we were. We were going on a hike, and we had to go up 7 miles of windy mountain road to get there. And halfway up,
Iowa,
Hawaii.
Were you in Iowa?
Trying to remember where we were.
Hawaii.
Yeah, halfway up was a Toyota pickup, and lower control arm ball joint snapped, and it was just plowed into the curb into the side of the road. He was taking up a whole lane. It was dead in the water right there. So we went up and did the hike, and on the way back, we met a wrecker at the bottom of the hill. It took like 45 minutes to get up there because it was so windy. It was like a part gravel, part paved thing. And I'm thinking, I said to Tammy, I said, I know where it's going, and I wonder what that wrecker bill is going to cost, because they're going up to get that dead Toyota with the ball joint had just snapped. And I've seen a few more like that every once in a while.
He started off and said, we get $2.85 a mile. And when he got to the bottom of that hill, he said, we get $90 an hour.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you that tow company knew where they were going.
That's when you switch to by the hour, when you know that, because you're going to get up there, and that normal hour drive to get up there and back is now probably 3.
Well, let's take a second here as we wrap up the show, because chassis inspection is something, you mentioned the safety
a lot of places do it free.
But it's in our part of the world, we're seeing more and more and more where the underbodies of the cars are rusting at the crucial points
They
where
can't hold their parts on anymore.
Yeah, it's getting to be these cars get used, and the average age of a vehicle is getting 12 years old on the road. And we just had a Dodge Avenger with the front cradle rusting. We see Ford Escapes. They got places where moisture pools on them, and then it rusts out the mount, and that's the whole.
The body looks
suspension.
great.
Yeah, the vehicles look good.
1 out of every 20 vehicles that comes into our shop for an engine or transmission, they're ready to spend thousands of dollars and get that job done, because the car still sells for $10,000 or more. They come in and they tell me, I can't fix it. Why? It's rusted beyond repair. You cannot drive this car. I can put my hand through the frame on your Toyota, your Chevy pickup, your Toyota.
Yep, we had one just recently. We had a very low mileage 2001 Silverado 2500, like 130,000 miles on it, and
rear end.
The rear frame was just gone. It was just totally gone. Not safe at all. If you hooked a trailer to it, it would have broken half.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing more and more of that. So if you're going to buy an older vehicle, definitely take it somewhere and have them get a used vehicle inspection done, a physical inspection, and have them check. It's okay if there's rust on the rocker panels and there's rust on the box and the fender wells. But when it starts getting into those crucial points that's your safety going down the road.
If it's good and safe, people still put engines and stuff in those, because if you've got a farm truck and it's beat up and it's rusty on the outside, but it's still secure and solid, you might be better off spending $5,000 or $6,000 and putting a reman engine in that to keep working that truck if the air and everything works, or fix it. Then to go spend 30 to 40 grand on another one that you're just going to go beat up and do the same thing to, unless you got extra cash lying around like Chris.
Yeah, I just
replace them.
Chuck it. Yeah,
Get
give
a vibe.
new one. Yep,
new vibe.
They're the best. 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, you can call that 24 hours a day, and we'll get you back on the show next time. Thanks for listening to the Under the Hood Show.
Just keep rolling and do some after with these instead of coming back again. We'll just.
Well, we have no calls coming in.
Yeah,
this is the after show, by the way. We have tell us
we got our
who's
guests here. I just thought I thought before we do the prod before, but it makes more sense to keep the feed rolling, and then we can do our production afterwards. We've got to record some commercials and stuff, and it takes just 15-10 minutes, whatever it is.
I would say the opposite on that,
but I'll yield to you.
I would say the opposite. But you should introduce our guests. For
Okay,
the-
yeah, we've got our guests here with us that are our ARA scholarship auction winners that are here to spend the weekend with us here in South Dakota. They're selling my birthday, the birthday experience. So we've got Mike Kunkel here from Profit Team out of Texas, and we've got GNR Auto Parts representing the three generations is Alan Green, his son Greg Green, and his son Nate. And then we've got from Florida here representing VinMatch Pro and Easy Pull, You Pull It in Pasco, Florida. We've got JC Cahill and his wife Holly, and they're also consultants in our industry that have been involved in a lot of things. So, there's the introduction.
Mm-hmm.
So now what are you going to do?
Now I think we should go and do our stuff, and you guys have stuff to do afterwards, right?
Yeah, but I was going to talk to these
Okay.
guys.
All right.
So I just say we keep that going.
Let's go.
So we only got 2 microphones, so let's bring the GNR gang up first. We're gonna put you guys on first. I think they're the shyest. No, they're not. Russ is gonna do a little bit of housekeeping here to figure out how will their headsets
Hold
reach
on.
that
These are
far?
dumb. They won't need them.
They won't need them. You don't need the headsets right now. Just there's another stool over here if you want, or I don't know how comfortable I'm gonna let them get because Greg will talk all day.
Right.
But no, we're sitting here. Is this good? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. We're sitting here in our studio, and we've got our industry guest here. For those of you that haven't listened before, if you tagged on, we know we don't get a bunch of live listeners on this all the time, but the residual's pretty good. We've got our industry is the professional automotive recycling industry, and so we have late model vehicles we dismantle for parts, and we offer those money-saving, sustainable parts to people to save a bunch of money on OEM replacements. They just haven't tested a little bit, and they work out great. We sell tons of stuff to repair shops and to dealers and to do-it-yourselfers and body shops and everything in between. And so in this business, like any business, and you start getting involved in the trade associations, there's a lot of great families, and there's a lot of great people that have been in it for a long time. It's a big industry, but a small community. And so sitting with us right now, we've got Alan and Greg and Nate Green. And who wants to talk first and give us the elevator speech about GNR Auto Parts?
I might start.
Get right up to that microphone, Alan.
Yeah, right here. My name's
This young man is only 42 years old.
Yeah, I'll be 43 in November.
Plus 40.
Plus 40, 83, I guess. But my dad started GNR in 56. And this past April 15th, we celebrated our 70th year in business at the same location, same business, same family.
Amen.
And my son, Greg, joined me. I joined in 61 out of high school. And then Greg joined in 93, and my daughter, Julie, 93. And then Nate decided I'll let him tell you how he got involved. But he's our 4th generation, and it's been very...
I keep saying 3rd generation. You guys are correcting me right there.
Well,
it is a 4th generation.
Yeah, my
Yes,
dad, who started
yes.
in 56, and I joined him in 61. But the unique thing about a family or a business like this is that it's very unusual for a continuation of legacy. You see a lot of 20, 30-year-old businesses, and then all of a sudden that 2nd or 3rd generation doesn't want to continue or doesn't have the work ethics to follow the founders. And I've been very blessed in having a family that wanted to get involved and continue that. So I'll let you maybe talk to Nate here.
Well,
He's,
and Alan, I've just got to tell you guys, I mean, I've known these guys since 99, 2000, somewhere in there. And he definitely has Dick Clark disease. He doesn't age. Every time I see him, he looks the same. And it's awesome. Him and my dad are the same age.
Yeah.
And when they get together and able to do some talking, it's
That'll
always
be
fun
interesting.
to listen to them guys chat about how things
Yeah.
have moved along.
And
how proud they are of
And
of
I
what's
might
happened.
say one thing. Back in 75, I went to my first ARA meeting in Kansas City and was sitting on a bus and with a gentleman, and he was asking me questions. I was 32 years old, and he's asking me questions about our business, and I couldn't answer one thing. So we go to the ceremonies and the dinner, and in that, the fellow that was sitting next to me, they introduced as the incoming president. Harold Schramm. And through that, I got acquainted with the Schramms. I got involved with ARA. I became a regional director, and I met some wonderful people and stole a lot of things from everybody that I went and visited.
Our industry definitely, we steal ideas from everybody
From
back and
Canada
forth.
to California
Yep.
to Florida. I've been all over with regional director. So I'll pass this on.
All right. The guy that doesn't like to talk.
Yeah.
Get into that mic, Greg.
The first correction, I started in 91. I've been at 35 years full time. I just come in after school for an hour and a half, things like that. I went to college for 2.5 years. I figured, I think I know what I'm going to do. I think this is what I'm going to do. I don't know if you start the salvage business, you kind of fall into the salvage business a lot of times, but I feel like that's what I know, and I love it. My best friend, Shannon, I consider you a great friend. I haven't been here in about 20 years or so, right? And so I'm super excited to be here. This place is amazing. Everything that you've done here. The Nate coming in, he was a little bit smarter than me. He decided he didn't want to go to college. About midway through his senior year, he said, "I don't think I want to go to college." I said, "Oh, I've got a college fund set up for you and everything."
Sounds like bonus money.
I was really concerned. I said, he's got the smarts. He can do the education, but he said, "I want to come to work." And I was real concerned because he doesn't do a damn thing at home. He doesn't clean up his room. He doesn't do nothing.
No work.
He doesn't do his own laundry.
Never had
And
a
so, but I'm super excited. He gets to work 6:30, 7 o'clock. He's earned the respect of the guys in the back. He works with the guys in the back. He doesn't point and tell them what to do. He's caught on fast. He's latched onto AI. He's redoing job descriptions, and we're having meetings with employees. So it's turned out 10 times better than I could have expected. And having him and the opportunity to be here right now with my dad and Nate here is something really special.
That's cool.
I'm super excited.
All right, Nate, you're on the mic.
And so I'm the fourth generation, and I graduated high school in 2025. And so midway through high school, I was doing a concurrent class for college. I was doing an OCCC concurrent class. I was doing Principles of Health and Disease because it was the only one left at the time that I had to take, only one that I could do actually. And so I was taking it. My class was super easy. Man, I was just getting through it with my resources that I had, and I was just flying through it. I finished the class with like a 93. But all my other friends I saw, their classes were impossible. Like, one of my friends, he was in macroeconomics, and his class, it would take him 20 hours a week to do all of his assignments, and it didn't even feel like his teacher was teaching his class. If he just gave him videos to do, and each video had like 20 questions, and there was 10 videos a day, and I was like, dude, I don't want to do 5 of those classes a week. And I was just like, man, and that's when I made the spot. Like, I made that basically within a week that I don't want to go to college anymore. And so then luckily my school had the opportunity for me to do a thing. It's called, what was it called? Internship. And so I did that internship class, and I interned with a friend of my dad's, Mark Witten. He does phone systems, like your Link phone systems. He does like big business phone systems, and I interned with him. It was all right. I learned a lot of stuff from him and things like that. And then finally I was like, man, I'm going to go intern at GNR because it's a little bit of a different business style. It's the salvage business, and it's more kind of hands-on and things. And so I was like, man, that seems like something I could do. And so I got in there, and recently, at the time that I started, we had a guy, he'd been with us for like, how many years? 44 years. And so he had a stroke, and he was doing all the inventory in the back. And he was the only
I forgot that. You guys had a big loss there, just in his ability to help.
He's still with us, but he came to work on a Friday, and he wasn't able to come back on a Monday. So, but I mean, he's not still with GNR. He's unable to work. But
We have that same situation with a 20-year plus employee recently with the guy that managed our self-service, Ricardo. He had a stroke.
Well, and so just to interject, sorry, real quick. And Nate says, I want to talk with you and Papa. I want to talk with you. I said, okay. I said, Nate wants to come in and talk with us. So he said, I want to come work here.
I said, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? You going to sweep?
And I thought, well, he's going to help me with
You guys don't realize how familiar the story sounds. I'm telling you, this is so familiar.
I thought he was going to help me with inventory and what. I said, well, Nate, what do you have in mind? He said, well, I'll take Dave's place. I looked at Greg, and I didn't say anything. And I thought, son, you don't know how many moving parts there are back there with 7 different employees and inventory and the cars and the evaluation, the pricing, the cores, the return. Whew. But I'm like Greg. I've been very, very amazed.
Hey, Nate, you probably don't know this. I know we've talked a little bit, but I went to school for like 5 months for telecommunications, for phone systems, cellular phones. That's what I was going to do. Is I didn't want to do the dairy farm, and so we got into we were with Ken Temple in electronics class, and we started talking about semiconductors and what was inside of them. I didn't care anymore. I was a car guy. We grew up with cars, and that's when I quit school and came back and called my mom. Same thing. And said, I want to come work at the business. She says, why would you want to do that? So it's just ironic when you said phone, that was like, oh my.
And that's funny too, because originally I didn't want to work at the business because I was always working there kind of part-time since I've been like 12.
You did all the crap jobs.
Yeah, and so I was like, man, I do not like this at all. And I was like, this is not something I want to do. And then finally I was like, man, let's give it another try. And kind of the position I was in with Dave being gone, he was the inventory manager and stuff. And so I just kind of filled in that role, and it was something I really enjoyed.
So we got to get to the next group here, but as you stand here right now, I'm going to put Nate on the spot. Are you 100% in, or are you 85, or where are you at?
Man, I've showed that I'm 100% in.
Okay, all right, that's awesome. And I'm gonna just.
He wants me to retire.
Is that there? You're
working on it.
You're like my dad.
I'm working on it.
You're like my dad. You'll be around the business.
I'll still get there between 6 and 7.
Yeah, it's my dad's the hardest working guy here, and sets an example. Well, thank you for being here, GNR Auto Parts. Let's pull up Mr. Mike Kunkel and get him on the mic here.
Thank you, Shannon.
Mike on the mic. Thank you, guys. Oh, Mike's been in South Dakota he's in South Dakota for the first time. He told me this morning when he got here. His wife Rachel's going back to do some other stuff, so she's with him here.
This is state number 46 for me.
I'm
wow. Down 4 to go in the deal, so it's kind of a big deal on the bucket list. I missed 50 by 50. I don't know if anybody's aware of that, right? But I went to a business college, a lot of travel in the deal, and there's a club, all 50 states by 50 years old. I'm a little late to that.
Didn't quite.
But I'm still getting
But
there.
he's been to all these states, and we see each other in Denver was the last place we were together, and we're sitting at a table, the big lunch area, and Mike's holding court because when Mike starts talking, it's kind of like E.F. Hutton. People are listening. Would that be true, guys? Yeah. I mean, if it's a lunch table and Mike, I'll sit by Mike on purpose every once in a while. I'm kind of curious what's going on, but he asked me about coming to South Dakota because he was involved in this auction, and he said Rachel wanted to see Mount Rushmore, and I said, here's my advice: fly into Rapid City, go see all that stuff, and then drive across the state one time, and that's enough. No.
Yeah.
He flew into Sioux Falls.
Drove it twice.
Are we broken off? Are we cut off? Oh, he flew into Sioux Falls, drove across our state, and drove back. And so he wins the award for fortuitousness.
It was fun, right? I mean, my 46 states, keep in mind that that's not just visit 46 states. That's see an auto recycler in all 46 states, right? So, in there. So, auto recyclers are located in one of two places. They're in a inner city, scary environment where you really don't want to be after dark.
Yeah, that's where you find the best employees.
Uh-huh. Well, they're quick at night. They know where all the bolts are, right? Hey, look, back in the day, Alan, we used to upgrade. You went to prison for stripping cars. You're my guy. You're my guy, right? But the other place that wrecking yards are located at is the middle of cornfields, right? Of the stuff.
Cows, corn, cars.
Driving, flying into an airport and driving for a couple of hours to get to a wrecking yard is kind of sort of my alley.
Well, Mike has been all over the place, and he has been involved in, I would say, some of the biggest changes in our industry. Mike's been at the table, and he's been involved with so many independent operators to help them. They all learn from each other, and he's taken that years of experience. And now, tell us about your company, and then we can just talk a little bit about you. We don't have a ton of time here, but Mike gets a warning like I do when it comes up to speak.
Profit Team is a very old company, right? It was originally started a long time ago by Jim Counts, probably by all accounts the greatest consultant in the history of the auto recycling industry.
So good to see him in Denver.
It was good to see him in Denver in there. So Profit Team, really, look, we're entrepreneurs at heart, very dedicated to the independent business, in there. The stuff that really kind of keeps America on the right path is the family-owned businesses and coming back in and doing that. So what we really do is work with independently owned auto recyclers primarily that are looking at, look, everybody wants to grow sales, but we're not here to make sales. We're here to make money in there. So that's primarily what we
Hence
what we
the
do.
name.
Hence the name, profit team. Right? I mean, in there, you hear when you ask people why they're in business, you hear a lot of things, good for the community, but the truth of the matter is, it's to make money.
Well, we'll have our employee meetings, and I tell our staff often that profit is not. It's from whatever movie it was. Profit's not a dirty word. What was that from? Oh gosh. Anyway, it's okay. I've got a movie reference there somewhere, but these guys know how bad I am with movie references. But you got to make money at what you do, or else good companies have to do bad things to good people.
That's correct.
And so you want to help a company be profitable if at all possible.
Well, because that's the American dream, right? Start a company, build the company up, become very prosperous with the company. That's kind of what sort of all of us have kind of, driven. And as family businesses, right, it's really important to us to be a fourth generation. You can listen to Alan with the pride he has in talking about Nate coming in. Of course, we could see why I didn't talk about Craig that way. That's a little different story, right, of coming in, right? JC and I have very similar backgrounds in the places that we have, bounced through across the United States and coming in. So the impact that you have on people's lives in order to make it better is really a big deal. And when you start talking about an auto recycler, I mean, my mother uttered the deal, says, I wanted to work for a computer company installing systems in wrecking yards. And it was my son works in the computer industry. Made sense. When I took a job running a yard in Henderson, Nevada, my mother uttered 4 years of college for this. You haven't even been to prison. Right? So have a that preset thing because you're an auto recycler, right? When's auto recycling make the news? Tire fires, body disposal, those types of things is when we make the television for stuff. When in reality, we take a group of people that are just really good people and then make a big impact in their life in upgrading the overall, performance with something that doesn't take a college education. A college education doesn't hurt you, doesn't set you back, doesn't necessarily give you a head start. It's just a wonderful.
I guess one thing I could say, just looking at you right now, Mike and JC's in this boat, but they have the ability to take ordinary people and help them do extraordinary things. And, that's a pretty cool mission you can be on. So you've got, in Profit Team, is there 4 or 3 consultants right now?
There's 4 of us. We have Rob Rainwater, we have Jer Banta, and Rich Tyler are all under the umbrella, and everybody's kind of working with different areas that they kind of specialize in and work with. But there's basically not a single job in the auto recycling industry that we haven't personally done to some extent.
We have a network that we're part of called Team PRP. And Team PRP gives Nordstrom's here in South Dakota, sitting in the middle of a cornfield, the ability to get parts from partners, over 300 partners around the entire United States, predominantly center to a little bit west and then all the way east. And I'm able to trade with Greg in Oklahoma City. I'm able to trade when Holly and JC had New England Auto and Truck Recyclers, Neater. We could trade with them up in New England. And Mike was at the table when the initial parts of that network were being put into place. And that's to me, that's when you talk about historic stuff, that's a big deal.
Mother is the necessity of all inventions, right? Of the mother of all inventions is necessity, right? So yes, look, the used auto parts business is really, really unique. I mean, if every grocery store in the world went out of business but one, that grocery store would smile from ear to ear because where would everybody go to get groceries? If every auto recycler in the world but one went out of business, that one would go out of business also because you can't handle the volume. You can't handle, it's too cluttered, it's too messy and come in. So it's an industry where we rely on each other and we do things that are completely abnormal than any other industry as far as open knowledge and sharing. This is everything I do and the way that I do it. And let me show you exactly how I do it down to the letter of the law so that we can go back and replicate that because we do truly understand that when Alan's dad started this business, it was a really little bit of a nanocosm of something. And now you run into auto recyclers that are doing $60-70 million a year in annual revenue. It's, Fortune 500, company has found it, or found it and come out of it. Private equity groups have found it. So it's kind of that last vestige of American entrepreneurship that is dominated by family businesses, that you still have an unbelievable opportunity to work your way from any position you want, from the weed eater to the buyer to actually owning the facility, past that, something like JC took Holly, into the same deal. Not all of us were born into it. Some of us worked our way in it from the outside.
Mike and JC both, if you want to hear their story deeper, if you're intrigued, the Trade Association has a podcast, which you can find on YouTube and all the podcast sites, called ARA Unscripted. And Mike has been interviewed, JC's been interviewed, I've been interviewed, and you can jump onto that podcast and hear a lot of that story, from Northwood Tech up in Michigan all the way to visiting all these states and being highly, highly respected in the industry. It's exciting.
Interesting side note, right? My family's number has always been number 8. And ARA Unscripted episode number 8 by pure
that's awesome.
happenstance.
That's
JC
awesome.
was episode 5, episode 8, just by pure happenstance of numbers that landed. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Well, and I've gotten to know Mike to know enough that he's a huge racing fan. And so he's probably more excited to be here for the High Bank Nationals than he is to see Nordstrom's.
Absolutely.
He's seen a lot of salvage yards.
Seen a lot of salvage yards. Seen a lot of nice ones. Seen a lot of not nice ones. But there's only one race in the history of dirt track racing that pays $300,000 to win. It's Saturday night.
Yeah, and for those of you that are probably still hanging on, they've upped the ante now. And if a local non-World of Outlaws racer wins that Saturday night main event, they're throwing in another $100,000, so $400,000 to win, and they'll be bumping each other for that.
Wreck your mother for that kind of.
We're going to bring the Cahills up here, so thank you, Mike. All right, so we got JC and Holly, and these two have just recently at our national convention sat down and did a dueling interview, kind of the keynote speech at our facility, and I think any one of us sitting in this room could go on and on for an hour or so about just kind of where they've been and what they've done in our industry. But JC too, your path involved even being involved with an auto manufacturer and getting some of that experience. But anyway, just tell about VinMatch Pro. Let me go back to the beginning. I was jumping ahead.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
We've moved our way through the process. We've been in the space for a long time. Grew up.
What is VinMatch Pro?
So VinMatch Pro is.
Let's start with that.
So my business partner Todd Ensworth came to me one day, and he was a big eBay seller, and his thought was, how do I solve the problem of a customer ordering the wrong part, regardless of what they give me? And he said, well, we're going to take the VIN from the original car and take the VIN from the customer, and we're going to match it and say, hey, this information matches. So motor, transmission, headlight, taillight, whatever we got from the build sheet from the car to match to the other car to say, hey, this matches. Now, there's reiterations to that, but the reality was the customer was ordering a halogen for a xenon, an automatic for a standard, a 6-cylinder for an 8-cylinder. And so on eBay, they were struggling to get this information right. And our problem was we were in New England, and we were the largest takeoff bed dealer in the country. So we would keep over 1,500 beds in stock.
Pickup beds, we're talking pickup boxes.
Truck beds. And we would, if you've ever been in this business, you've ever had a truck bed that you bought and sold, and it grew 2 feet and shrunk 2 feet. So, they
look where the fuel cap's at.
It's got a square gas door, a round gas door. It's got a flare above the side. When you walk on the side of it, how many steps does it take you to get to 8 feet?
Every iteration we've tried.
I mean, is it a mega cab or a crew cab?
Yeah.
Is the door handle inside or outside? Does it do this? And so asking those questions 977 times, and the final straw for one of my salespeople, did you check the bed? And he says, yes, I did. And if you've ever, Scott Robertson, there's a point called Provincetown, which is literally on the tip of Cape Cod. And by the time from our facility to the tip of Cape Cod is 9 hours in a tow truck. And the guy said, I have to have this. It's the only bed. It's the only body shop in Princetown. It's the only place there. And literally the bed, they bring the bed, they drop it off, they paint it, they go to install the truck. It's the wrong color.
Oh, God.
So the salesman learns a lesson. He decides, I said, guess
wrong
what?
color or the wrong size?
The wrong size.
Yeah,
okay, wrong size. And he learns to drive. He gets the field trip to drive and pick up the bed and return to get the second one.
Never made that mistake again.
Yeah.
So VinMatch Pro has filled a void that has been in our industry forever.
Yeah.
When you call a franchise dealer to buy a part, they have the build data for the particular vehicle that you have, so that when you give them your VIN number, they can say you have this mirror most likely on your vehicle because that shows what part was put on your vehicle. We don't have that information, and VinMatch Pro has came in and filled a void, and they're building that connections and the relationships and the database to fill that void for our industry.
Absolutely. And so part of the relationships from my prior life cycle and from Todd's things and the work and use cases and legal to get where we are today is pretty significant. And it's taken years. We've been at this for 4 years, and the next iteration of things that we've got coming forward for all of us in this industry are really exciting. I mean, I'm going to say life-changing. And truly, for the first time ever, I can actually say that the next round of what's coming next is going to change how we all do business. Like overnight, instantaneously, because the information that we're going to be able to gather and put together has been, let's just say it's been everywhere, and now we're going to be able to put it here. And we're going to be able to put it at our fingertips so we all know what's going on. I'm so excited.
JC's starting to evangelize. I'm getting excited.
I'm getting excited. The hairs on my back and my neck are standing up.
Well, okay, JC's talking too much. You got this beautiful lady
I got
next
my beautiful
to you.
wife. I'm sorry.
So Holly, get closer to the mic, and let's just get into this. Where did you guys meet? We don't want to do the whole story, but where did you guys meet, and how did you get into the salvage business together?
We met in Florida. Actually, we met through a mutual friend. Friend and I went to college, went to high school with JC. We met. We kind of started our journey. We moved out west. We moved around.
I love the podcast, hearing your guys'
Yeah.
story of
It
all
was
that.
fun. We were always out for we never had kids on purpose, and we were always out for the adventure. We moved around a lot just to, hey, he was kind of Mikey likes a guy for corporate. Like, hey, JC, this place is messed up. Can you fix it? Yeah, I'll go there. We'll do that. So we moved a lot. I worked for Coca-Cola and then Frito-Lay after that. I worked for Frito for about 15 years. So I was always able to transfer. So we always had a spot for me. So it was good. We kind of had a deal. Whoever got the best promotion or made the most money is where we went. So we moved around the country a lot. It was good. We were always out for the adventure. And then in 2011, he said, I want to put my name on a store, on a building. And we bought with the Browns. We bought the facility out in Massachusetts. We were living in Washington State. Had a beautiful house, beautiful view of the bay in Seattle. Awesome. And then we're in central Armpit, Massachusetts. So that's fine. It all worked out fine. So
Sounds perfect.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
I flew her into Boston.
Just outside Boston.
I flew her into Boston. We had the most romantic weekend. It was gorgeous. And I'm like, we're just a little ways away from here. And we were driving.
You sold Boston.
I sold Boston. And
went to a Red Sox game.
We're driving and we're driving and we're driving. And the town literally has one stoplight and one one thing. And I'm like, we're here. She's like, where are we?
Like, where is this place? So anyways, I worked for Frito-Lay there. We had played with working with each other, and we're like, I don't know if it's a good idea. It's a lot, right? Working with your spouse. Like, I don't know. And so we kind of went back and forth on it, and I kind of tipped my toe into the business. I started working on some buying stuff. I really enjoyed the buying part of the business. And so I kind of got
addictive.
It is.
We'll tell a woman that she gets to be a buyer. And that was how Holly said she was always going to be a buyer.
Yeah. So, I kind of was spending more time at the salvage yard than I was at Frito-Lay. So I was doing that. So then I finally said, hey, we're going to come in full time. That was in 2015.
Yep.
So I made the jump. Best thing we ever did. We worked great together. We've been, off to the races since then. So it's been, it's been great. And it's not for everybody, but we like working with each other. And we like we said in the ARA deal, we stay in our lane. We don't play each other's sandboxes, and we get the job done.
Okay, so just a fast forward as you guys built New England Auto and Truck Recyclers, ended up selling that off to another larger organization.
Yes.
Yep.
And everybody thought, okay, what's JC and Holly going to do now? And it's because he's nervous sitting here.
We said retire. That didn't work out. No.
And so
we took 90 days off. We had a whole 90 days, and it was the worst 90 days of my true life. Like the worst.
Tell us about the self-service and the things you're working on down in Florida.
So we had a minority ownership in a yard in Florida called Pasco Auto Salvage, and we converted it to go Pasco Easy Pull It. And our theory was that there's a lot of opportunity left in the self-service space, that there's, whether you're going to hybrid it, whether you're going to do these different models, whether you can take care of the customers better. I had worked for Pick and Pull back in the day. When Greenleaf got sold, I had worked for them. I had built the first true hybrid facility in Phoenix, Arizona. We were processing over 2,000 cars a month, and cars going right, cars going left, new parts store, very centralized, cool, kind of like the old Johns.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Yep, my hero.
Yeah, yeah. And so that being said, I thought there was an opportunity this, and then with Todd, my partner, my strategic business partner, and then Doug Gross, who was my business partner down there, he had come from Pick and Pull, and we all agreed that you can build a better self-service, you can build a better version, you can build better stuff. So the things that we thought we're going to make it really easy to do business there, super easy to buy their car, easy to do sales, and just make it no part unsold. So things that traditionally in self-services people are difficult about, we just want to make it fun and easy. And so we started building a business, and it's just turned out to do really well. Now we've got technology involved, and we're listing the full operational build sheet of the car on every car, and you can search physically from our website. You can search, say you want to look for 6.0, instead of going through all the interchanges and all the questions that are hard. You just type in 6.0, and it shows you the vehicles have a 6.0 in it. Little things like that make it more fun and more engaged with the customer is what we're doing. And I have my two nephews that are involved in the business, and
That's
they're
awesome.
They're fantastic. So
They love it. They love the business.
We didn't have kids, but we fortunately enough have two nephews that are just great.
Well, they love you guys.
It's perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so they've got hands-on experience with the self-service, had their own facility, and so when I sit here with JC and Holly and Mike in the greens here, and we're going to spend the next day and a half just walking around our facility and talking shop, I'm very, very, I'm just going to say this to you guys. I'm nervous because I've told JC this. I never let anybody get past, hey, it's the Chamber of Commerce tour. And so having these guys here, I'm sure they're going to have a lot of questions about just how we do things. And I want to be able to lean onto them just to be able to say, what do you think about this? And this is going to be fun. I mean, I think we're going to have a good time. We're going to have some meals. We all like to laugh together. We all know each other. And so we're looking forward to the next couple of days. To me, it just thank you all, because it boggles my mind that you spent money to come here and take 2 or 3 days out of your week. And
well, look in the mirror, Shannon.
It does.
Both you got everybody here. That the work that you've done is really you people are drawn to you.
Yeah.
You draw a good crowd.
Yeah.
Thank you for your hospitality. It's been great so far. So
thank
you for
I got to
everything.
thank you mentioned the gift baskets in the hotel room. You're going to meet Chrissy in our business office, and I have to thank her. She 100% took care of that for me.
That was first class.
Yeah. And she'll have to tell you the story about how they about didn't get in your room. All right. Well, we're going to break it off here, and we want to thank these folks for being here.
Mhm.
And we're going to do some production, and we'll segment this little piece off, and we'll get it out so we can share it in the industry too. This little segment we just did at the end here too. Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.